Hey guys, I wanted to give you a quick demo of the AI Studio Builder on the SigmaMind AI platform. So in this video, I'm going to explain you each of these components. What do they mean? How you can use them to build your own conversational AI agent flows. So let's get started. So what you see here is essentially the AI agent builder studio. And as soon as you add new AI agent, everyone will see the start trigger by default, right? And what the start trigger is essentially how you trigger this particular AI agent. In this example, I've selected it as voice call started. So this is the trigger, that event that you would select for building a voice AI agent. But you can also select for text-based channels like chat, email, SMS. You can actually select something called as ticket saved created event. So this event will help you trigger this particular AI agent whenever there is a text based like a chat or email, especially in inbound cases, right? So, and you can add more than one trigger events as well, right? So let's say you want to have the same flow for voice as well as for a chat and email flow. You can just add a voice trigger event here as well. Okay. Now, what you can also do here is filter by intent. So what this helps you do is, and you can have one or more intents here. What this helps you do is for any inbound request, this will help you filter or trigger this particular AI agent. So for example, if you select schedule an appointment as an intent for this trigger, so this particular AI agent will only trigger when there's a inbound request about scheduling an appointment. Otherwise, all this flow won't even trigger, and that will be handled via human agent or any other setup that you have going. Okay. And you obviously you can have multiple intents here as well. Now, as a next other modules that we have here is send response. So this send response module, so again, you can drag and drop these modules, which will pop up here. And what you see here is essentially you can either give like a prompt as a response. So essentially you're breaking up your flow in mini prompts. So in this example, let's say if you want to greet the customer, so you can just have that as a prompt, or you can also have like if you already have built-in templates or macros that you want to use, you can select the static category and have this as a prompt, or have this as a response, right? Now, and you can select these by channel as well. So for example, if you want a different response or a different prompt for a phone voice conversation, you can select the channel here, and then for email you may want a different prompt, so you can select have a different response category for email as well. So depending on your channel, you can have different type of set of different types of response prompts here. Okay. Next up, what we have here is wait. So again, you can just drag and drop that module here. And what you see here is two things. One is event, and you can add conditions here for each of these events. Now, what that helps you do is basically if you are setting up, let's say, any sort of conversational flow, this helps you wait for the customer message. So in this case, for example, the event selected is ticket message created customer, this one, right? Customer. So what this helps you do is this will essentially wait for the customer reply in your flow, right? So let's say someone calls in, and then your agent answers the call, greets them, and then in order for you to have a conversation where you're waiting for the customer message, this is what you would use. And you can have again conditions here as well, right? And you can even have like a delay, intentional delay as well, right? So if you want to, let's say, wait for a certain customer message, so you know you want to give like a 24-hour window, or let's say an 8-hour window, you can give that delay over here. Okay. So that is some sort of a conversational automation you can set up using this wait event as well. Now, moving on, and I'll show you in the overall picture how you can use this wait event in your conversational flows overall as well. Next up is user intent. So this is essentially your mini prompt that you design to detect what the customer is saying. So you can have one or multiple user intents over here. So in this example, you see you can have so if you're waiting for essentially, so what's happening is you're waiting for the customer to say something, and then you're basically giving conditions. Okay, if the customer says about this topic, then do this, right? So here that's what's happening, right? So if the customer message is about canceling an order, this is what you do, and you can link this to a particular app action or a response, right? Similarly, you can add multiple if then else conditions which will help you. So you're essentially again breaking up it into mini prompts. So these user intents, obviously based on what you define here, it will detect the intent of that customer message and then accordingly continue the flow. Okay. So this is user intent. Now next up is app action. Now this is where all your third party API integration will come into play, where if you want to retrieve certain information from, let's say, a CRM system or from any third party system, or even take an action on certain systems, as long as you have set up API integrations with those, you can see them in the drop down. So in this case, we have already set it up with Shopify. So that's why you see the Shopify in the drop down over here. And then this is all the API requests that you can make with this particular application that you have set up. So if you have set up only, let's say, a get request, then this is what get order request, then this is what will show up in this particular drop down, right? So this actually helps you to take actions or just retrieve information about a particular customer. Next up, what you see, and next up, what you see here is branch. I want to show you branch. So branch is interesting where you can have multiple conditions. So you can think of branch as like pre-validations before you decide which way you want to turn the conversation to, right? So for example, you can have checks even before the after the user intent flow, before you give a response actually, right? So you can have conditions like so you have and or conditions, and then you can select from this drop down. So all your integrations, their fields would show up in this particular drop down, right? So for example, you see the Shopify order status as a field here, and this is where you get it pulls up all the fields from your API integration, and then you can select different conditions, right? So similarly, in your scenario, whatever system you have integrated, you can pull all these conditions as well in branch, and then you can connect these to multiple other modules as well based on these pre-validations. Okay, now as a overall, how you let's see how you can use these modules to design an overall flow, right? So for example, what I've done here is I've designed, let's say, a cancel order request that is being placed by a customer, and I've essentially written these user intent messages, and then based on these, it's retrieving the specific order, looking up the email ID of the customer that's calling in, or the phone number, and right. So and you can set which fields you want to look up that information for. And then once you do that, you can actually loop back your responses to the wait module. And what happening here is, so let's say you respond to the customer calls in asking to cancel an order, you're offering them a 30% discount instead, right? And so you need to obviously wait for the customer to respond back to that particular response that the AI has just given. So that's why you just loop it back into your wait module, so that it again waits for the customer to say something, right? And you can have like multiple loops here with multiple response loops as well. So I can link this particular module with wait module as well. So this is what each of these modules help you do to design custom conversational AI agents based on your use case. You can use these modules however you want, arrange them, and build your flow as well. Just quickly, what app actions that we were talking about do is this. So here is where you can actually add all your apps. So all your third-party integrations, API integrations. So right now you see we have Shopify, and then we have added just one API action, which is get request for retrieving the order info. Similarly, you can have a CRM app where you're, let's say, fetching a customer info, or you're posting a certain info in your CRM system. So you can add those actions, you can set up these variables, and you can add your API keys for those integrations as well. Okay. And very quickly, so once you have built these AI flows, what you can do is you can just simply go to the playground over here on this menu, and you can actually test out your flows on the playground itself. So you can add a subject, you can add a random email ID, you can select the channel from this list and just type a message and hit submit, right? And what you'll see is if your AI agent meets that requirement or your triggers, it will trigger a particular flow. And then you can actually view the events and see, oh, what's happening with, did it trigger correctly? Did the steps go as expected? You can check all that over here. Okay. So yeah, so this is how you set up AI agents. This is a quick overview. Any questions about this, about any of these modules, what fields to use, what events to put in, feel free to just reply to this post on the Discord channel.